of activities of the reconciliatory body for the year 2022 and the official opening of the office close to the Court of First Instance in Upstation Bamenda. The ceremony was presided over by the pioneer public independent conciliator for the Northwest region, Tamfu Simon Fai. And on this occasion, the pioneer public independent conciliator Tamfu Simon Fai called on municipal authorities to get abreast with the new functions. Let's get him right away.
The PIC has as major stakeholders the regional executive and local council authorities on the one hand, as well as users and beneficiaries of services of the regional executive and council administrations on the other hand. Our objective is to raise the awareness of our stakeholders and establish a platform for constructive and productive collaboration.
There is no way we can be dishing out instructions to them. So it's going to be collective, and we hope that we're going to
26 years have passed since the adoption of the Constitution of the Republic of Cameroon. It was on the 18th of January 1996. The Cameroonian government can today boast of several institutions, including the Senate, Regional and Constitutional Council. But these institutions still face a lot of criticisms from Cameroonian political activists. Joy Ngong tells us more.
January 18, 1996, the Republic of Cameroon adopted a new baby, the promulgation of Law Number 96/06 of January 18, 1996, revising the Constitution of June 2, 1972, a constitution which seemed to demonstrate the will of the Paul Biya regime to continue the process of liberalization of Cameroonian political life initiated in the early 90s.
The 1996 Constitution made Cameroon a decentralized unitary system, unlike the third or the 72 Constitution. Two, the 1996 Constitution ushered in basic freedoms and liberties of Cameroon: political freedoms, economic freedoms, social freedoms, and cultural freedoms. Three, the 1996 Constitution created democratic institutions aimed at making democracy strong, reinforcing democracy. And among those institutions that were created were the Constitutional Council, the Senate, and because the 1996 Constitution ushered in a decentralized unitary system, decentralization was given meaning by carrying out elections into regional assemblies or regional councils.
The January 18, 1996 Constitution has brought about many changes to the landscape and political life in Cameroon. The creation of a Senate, a Constitutional Council, regional councils, and over half a dozen of institutions which 26 years later are gradually being put in place.
The 1996 Constitution had, in what looked like a hidden clause, the creation of a special status for some regions. And in the last national dialogue, it occurred to everybody that the northwest and southwest regions were suited to be made special regions. And based on the recommendations of the major national dialogue which took place 2 years ago, and the Article 62 of the 1996 Constitution, the northwest and southwest regions have special status, by which it means that in their organization as regions, in their functioning as regions, they have certain specificities which are different from the organization and functioning of the other 8 regions.
The 1996 Constitution of Cameroon was adopted at a time of great expectations when the country was transitioning from an authoritarian state to a constitutional democracy. Yet, despite the numerous notable institutional changes and advancements so far, the 1996 Constitution has been the subject of numerous criticisms. More than 2 decades on, some political activists and members of the opposition hold that the Constitution has failed in several aspects, especially especially in the regulation of political life or responding to pressing societal demands.
If you look at Article 5 of the Constitution, I have a copy here. It said the head of state shall be the symbol of national unity. We have an absentee president that people don't know at times if he's alive or not. A president who is so divisive that he will allow his own political party, they have one rule for themselves, and the opposition political party cannot exercise the same right. The Constitution of Cameroon is not a plausible constitution.
Political activists accuse the Constitution in particular of some sort of power monopoly. They believe that it granted the head of state an absolute control of power to the detriment of democracy.
Oppositions, they don't have a right. If you look inside the Constitution of Cameroon, it is clear. They say opposition party must bound by democratic principle, national unity and sovereignty. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't state the fact. The Constitution is just a paper to authorize some minority people to oppress the majority.
Despite the shortcomings of the Constitution, Cameroonians are hopeful. With time, its provisions will be fully accomplished. It is often said there is no perfect system of governance.
Away from this, the governor of the Adamawa region, Kyudadi Tagieke Bukar, has handed over a total of 21 brand new motorbikes to delegates for youth and civic education of the Adamawa region. The donation ceremony, which took place on Wednesday, January 19, at the esplanade of his services, geared towards the fight against incivility, which is on the rise in the region. And speaking after the handing of these motorbikes, he called on the beneficiaries to make good use of them. Let's have him right away.
To boost our economy, we want to boost our youth. So I think, luckily enough, the government has decided to provide those important tools to the youth. We do hope that they will be used them adequately. We are going to follow them because we came out officially and gave them the motto officially. We are going to follow up the beneficiaries in order for an official use.
In Bamenda, two people, a woman and a bike rider, are currently under treatment after a 70-seater bus crushed them on a motorbike. The incident happened yesterday around Finance Junction in Bamenda. According to eyewitness, the 70-seater bus, which belongs to Vatican, crushed the bike from behind coming down from upstation. Witnesses added that the bus driver, who was alone in the vehicle, ran for his dear life, while the two victims were rushed to the hospital. And talking about the road accidents, elements of the National Gendarmerie are intensifying road safety measures in the west region of the country amid the AFCON competition. As such, a 3-day sensitization campaign to keep road users safe on the highway was launched recently. Our reporter from Quinta has more on this.
As AFCON competition reaches fever pitch, elements of the National Gendarmerie are responding to the football spirit by intensifying road safety measures. It is against this backdrop that elements of the National Gendarmerie in Bafoussam, West region of Cameroon, embarked on a road safety campaign to keep road users safe on the highway during and after the AFCON competition, especially on the Yaoundé-Bafoussam and Bafoussam-Chang highways.
As you know, our country is hosting the African Nation Cup of Nations. And here in Bafoussam, we have some people who are playing here. Now we have to guarantee, to be sure, to ensure the fact that people will be traveling safety from Yaoundé to Bafoussam, from Douala and from the neighboring villages to Bafoussam. So we are here to deter those who usually are not respecting the main rules of the road, of the traffic.
At the time the country is battling with COVID-19 pandemic, Lieutenant Colonel Nsah Boom and his boys studied wise to sensitize road users on the need to respect all COVID-19 barrier measures.
Here first, to sensitize people for COVID and to ensure that people are respecting limitation. Then now there are other intellectual factors that can be found during the traffic, but we are insisting, we are laying the emphasis on speed, limitation, and we are sensitizing people as far as COVID is concerned.
For 3 days, all road users had to go through routine checks, with passengers and drivers urged to respect all highway codes, as prevention, they say, is better than cure.
We now talk about bullying, which is a form of aggressive behavior. 1 out of every 4 students report being bullied each year. The consequences of such behavior could be fatal on a victim. Bokengo Audrey tells us more.
Born from depression, anxiety, and attention deficit disorder, bullying is considered to be a complex social phenomenon that cuts across age, culture, beliefs, ethnicity, as well as countries.
Bullying is the repeated aggressive behavior where one person in position of power deliberately intimidates another person with the intention of physically or emotionally hurting that person.
According to JMA's mental health advocates, envy, low self-esteem, loneliness, unhealthy environments are some triggers for bullying.
The bullier, as I would like to call it, is being bullied himself, be it at home, in his neighborhood, or by his own siblings or step-siblings. Another aspect of bullying could be the fact that the bullier feels lonely, and in order to get the attention or to seek the attention of others, he will tend to bully the person. You get at times when someone, a bullier, tells you he bullied you in order to be your friend, which is a very funny aspect. Another cause of bullying could be the fact that he feels ashamed, he's not proud of his own intellect, and he's not proud of his own intellect.
To this regard, the impacts of bullying in society gives rise to life-lasting traumas born from suicide, drug overuse, homicide, amongst others.
In bullying, it is not only the person who is being bullied that is affected. The bullier himself is affected, the person being bullied is affected, and those witnessing bullying is affected in this case. Bullying will lead to depression, anxiety, suicide, attempted suicide, and death in most or some cases. It is worth noting that bullying might be considered as a public health problem, and it is very essential that we look into this aspect to help prevent deaths due to bullying, especially among our youths today. Other impacts of bullying could be the fact that bulliers might engage in taking hard drugs, which might lead to increased vandalism in the society, increased theft, increased violence. Persons who have suffered bullying while they were kids might continue with this aspect of aggression. You find in a home a man constantly beating his wife, a woman being constantly aggressive to her husband and her kids.
Nonetheless, honest communication, acts of kindness and love can help reduce bullying in society.
Each and every one of us has a role to play in preventing bullying in our society. We could encourage acts of kindness. We should be kind to one another. You never know when a word which you say to the next person might change that person. It could be a bullier that you have just changed. Let's encourage acts of kindness among ourselves, and parents should be keen to their children. Listen to the little details. They give us signals when they return from school. You find a child who gets up in the morning and tells you, "Mommy, I'm not going to school today." And you're like, "Go to school, you have to go to school." We don't listen to what the child says. The child might be experiencing bullying and might want to run away from it, but we're pushing the child towards it. Let's encourage children to speak let's encourage communication among children, because that's another way of preventing this aspect of bullying in our society.
It is worth mentioning that bullying accounts for about 5.4 million cases of depression, anxiety, mental health disorder in most children and adolescents worldwide.
Out of the country, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has opened a new vaccine manufacturing facility. The vaccine manufacturing campus was unveiled on January 19, 2022 in Cape Town by the President together with South African-born health technologies billionaire Dr. Patrick Soon-Shiong. The facility, according to the South African President, will boost the country's capacity to make its own inoculations for diseases, including COVID-19. And we now take our AFCON updates. Nigeria have joined Cameroon and Morocco in the last 16 at the Africa Cup of Nations. The Super Eagles made it 3 Group D wins in a row as they beat Guinea-Bissau 2-0 with goals from Umar Sadiq and William Troost Ekong at the Rumde Ajia Stadium. Facing Sudan yesterday, Egypt won 1-0 and makes it to the round of 16. And for today's matches, the last day for the group stage at the ongoing AFCON 2021 for Group A. Today is the last day for the group stage at the ongoing AFCON 2021. And for Group E, Algeria will be playing against Cote d'Ivoire today at 5 p.m. at the Douala Japoma Stadium. Sierra Leone against Equatorial Guinea at 5 p.m. at the Limbe Omnisport Stadium. And for Group F, Gambia against Tunisia at 8 p.m. at the Limbe Stadium, and then Mali against Mauritania at 8 p.m. at the Japoma Stadium. It should be noted that Africa's reigning champions Algeria have to beat Ivory Coast in the last group match in Group E to gain a place in the last 16, because Ivory Coast is already topping Group E with 4 points and Algeria has got just a point. And that was it for today's edition of Prime Flash, produced as usual by Junior Pelama. Thanks for watching, faithful viewers. You'll get more news stories in our 3:30 p.m. Prime Info with Gladys Bomotongina and 6:30 p.m. Prime News with Fon Quinta. Coming up next is In the House with Eileen Sama and her ladies. Have a nice time.